and welcome to the 2018 Canadian Ultimate Championships here in Brampton, Ontario. We're here with women's crossover action. The winner of this game will get themselves a spot in the top 8, moving on to quarterfinals. It's Becky Thompson here in the booth. I'm joined by Etienne Fournier. We're about to see Korra from Saskatchewan out of Regina against QUB from Quebec in this matchup here. Women's crossover, the wind picking up a little bit as well. And Etienne, I think these two teams both had on the one hand a tough day for QUB. They had to face two top teams in Venus and Stella. Korra, on the other hand, in the lower power pool, managed to win both their games fairly handily. So could be an interesting matchup.
Well, as you mentioned, QUB really wants to show that they deserve their their spot in the top 8 of this women division, while Korra, which was initially ranked number 9, definitely wishes to beat their initial seeding. So great things are at stake during this game, and as you mentioned, the wind is picking up. So looking forward to see the outcome of this game, but for sure we'll see plenty of actions.
Yeah, so both these teams with their eyes on the top 8 right now. QUB finished 6th last year at the Canadian Championships in Ottawa, and they definitely are looking to improve on that. Although talking to their coach, Felix Marceau, before the game, they have quite a large group of new players to this team, a lot of young talent as well. So setting their expectations to top 8, but we'll see where they can go from there. Korra, on the other hand, have never made a quarterfinal at the Canadian Championships, so they're looking to improve on their previous records as well. But talking to their captains, they're also here to enjoy it and continue to improve as a team and enjoy every moment.
And it's the last game of the day for both of these teams, so definitely some fatigue into their legs. Second day of the tournament, so that's where the mental kicks in to make sure you are executing your game plan. Alors, nous sommes ici au championnat canadien édition 2018 à Brampton, Ontario. Nous aurons l'opportunité de voir un match à la division féminine qui opposera Korra de la Saskatchewan, qui était initialement classée 9e de la division féminine, qui s'opposera au QUB de la belle ville de Québec, initialement classée numéro 5. Alors, les deux équipes qui s'affrontent pour accéder au quart de finale de la division féminine. QUB qui cherchera à préserver ou à tout le moins se battre pour respecter son classement initial de la 5e position, alors que Korra, qui n'a jamais accédé au quart de finale lors de la dernière participation, cherchera à battre son classement initial. Alors merci d'être des nôtres.
So the horn has just gone. We can get underway here. Crossover action. The later stages of this tournament on the line.
So the white jerseys being Korra and the dark jerseys being QUB.
And the pull goes up. The wind already in effect, as that one's going to blade a little bit and then roll just back into their own half.
Looks like there's a zone defense set by QUB right off the start.
Lee will pick up and immediately shoot through the cup. Now Anderson on the far side finds Humble. Back to Anderson. Humble and Anderson, no problem swinging the disc as they find Lee again on the near sideline. Lee into the middle for Doucette.
Transition to man-to-man defense. And there's a lost shoe on the field. Number 30 from QUB has lost a shoe.
Cleo Dubé there, just shoe coming off. Maybe stepped on her heel a little bit as Doucette will catch up, so a call on the play as well. Korra about 20 yards from the end zone now. Lee, a real leader on this team, one of their captains too, and she shoots the inside flick, but a pick was called.
So QUB has just transitioned from a zone defense to a man-to-man defense in the meantime.
Humble again over to Doucette. Fakes the shot to the end zone and holsters it. That one through traffic, but Humble has it now. Just surveying for an option, finds the reset, and Anderson. Anderson will shoot towards the end zone. Just outside, and now shot in to Doucette. Kimberly Dahl with the assist, and it's 1-0, the offensive hold here for Korra.
Even though the vertical stack in the end zone was not very clean, Korra found a way to score this first offense, the first offense possession. So good job by the Saskatchewan O-line.
Yeah, and a clean point as well, and that's always what you want to see right at the start of the game, a team coming out on offense, able to generate perfect passes all the way up the field, not phased by the zone set from QUB either.
Considering also that there's I'd say a significant win on the field right now, you want to make sure that your O-line can handle that win. So everything's there to give Korra's confidence early in this game.
So first chance now to see the D-line from Korra and the O-line from QUB. The wind is coming across from the left side of your screen to the right, so Korra about to pull upwind. Could see a little bit of an upwind downwind game here as it is gusting fairly strong.
Let's go D, let's go D. There you go, right.
So that disc pulled from Bobby Anderson will land just past halfway. Disc now in play here for QUB.
Zone defense by Korra.
Shooting to an open receiver in the end zone. The deep play there from Korra, not marking up against the receiver, and a very quick hold here for QUB to make it 1-1.
A one pass point. That's what you like as a coach. No hesitation. The receivers for QUB was had great separation versus our defender. Korra was playing a zone, but they directly pulled it in the end zone to score and to tie the game to 1.
So quick hold there. Both teams with clean points on their first O-lines of the game. So like you said, exactly what a coach wants to see. They'll be happy with that to start off here.
So we saw both teams starting with a zone defense. So we're looking forward to see if they will maintain that, or if the zone defense so far has not been successful, to see if they will maintain that at least for a while, or transition to more of a man-to-man coverage.
Pull heading up now for QUB. Humble will pick up here for Korra. Over to Lee. The same zone look, a 3-3-1 here. Actually a 2-3-2 zone from QUB. As Korra shoots through the spaces. Humble looking for the deep space. And that one sailing and just trailing away from her receiver. The QUB defender there had the inside lane as well. So not a 100% shot to take in that situation.
A very risky throw by Korra's handler. There was no real separation from the receivers versus her defender, which led to the first turnover of this game. So QUB in possession, looking for a break point.
Champagne Coach shoots that one to the sideline, but bobbled, and giving an opportunity straight back to Korra to get a hold as Lee picks up now. Lee to the end zone. Looking for Dahl, and it's going to sail out of the back, and there is that wind coming into play right away, pushing the disc too far away from Dahl.
So great opportunity for Korra. They were just on the doorstep of their second goal of the game, but unfortunately could not connect. So giving QUB another opportunity of the first break point of the game.
Champagne Coat now looking for an option, and the touch there. Humble with the hand block as Lee will shoot straight to Dahl in the end zone, threading the needle on that pass, and makes it 2-1 here early in this game.
Great transition by Korra, who had the QUB paid right off this turnover. So QUB could not even get out of the first 10 yards of their own end zone, even though they had the 2 possession of the disc. So not able to punish Korra for their unforced errors. So Korra leading by 2-1. Still no break early in this first half.
Korra putting on the pressure defense on that turnover as well. QUB with an early mistake, but you can already tell that Champagne Cote there is a very active and agile handler for this team. Also plays in the cutting lanes as far as I'm aware, but moving very quickly up the line, burning her defender every time she's in that space. So we're definitely going to have to look out for her throughout the course of this game. They're going to be looking to her, especially in some isolation situations.
And for QUB, Lynn Law on Korra's team, she's has a definitive pivotal role on the offense line. So they will need to figure out a way to shut her down if they expect to win this game.
So Dis now in play again, immediately shooting up line, looking for Garon, but unsure that Dis was meant for her, as Korra, a chance to go upwind, tries to force the huck, had the receiver, but that huck upwind has to be perfect.
Miscued on the up the line cut from Garon. She didn't expect that pass, but her teammate said, yeah, well, you were the target.
And Garon then shooting to an open receiver in Goutet-Verret, but dropped on that one as now Doucette has it. Finds Anderson back. Korra looking for the first break of the game. Anderson running out of options, shoots to the end zone looking for Nola Stein, and that one was coming back in, but the QUB defenders reading that to go and get the D.
And Marie Bergeron not taking any chances, even though the disc was out. She just said, well, I'm going to shut it out and just put it away out of reach from Korra. So it's another possession from QUB with their O-line looking to tie the game to 2.
So disc back in play here, and looks like a call.
I think there was a pick call, so just ensuring we are getting the stall back at the right number.
And Latulippe shooting that one just a little bit over the head, but then reeled in, and Latulippe again has it now, finds Goutet-Verret, and that one, a run through D and a foul call. This is Goutet-Verret now with the foul call, thinking that there was contact that affected her ability to make the grab.
Erika Doucette definitely had the first touch on this disc, but number 5, Goutet-Verret, claims that she was bumped. So that's why there was a turnover. So it goes back. Contested foul, no hard feelings, getting back into the game.
Always good to see the players able to sort these things out on their own, as that into tight space, and Latulippe now finds Garon up line, shooting to the end zone, and that one is reeled in under the coverage. Furland with the score. The little flip spike there at the end. That's a great throw from Garon, and tight coverage from Korra, but we're tied at 2s.
Very tight coverage. Actually, it was a challengeable disc, and I'd say both of the players had a great bid on it, but find it at the end, it's really QUB that ended with the disc, tying the game to 2. With in the last point, there was quite significant numbers of turnover from both teams. So the win definitely having a factor on the output of this game. So let's see which team can handle it the best.
Yeah, the longest point we've seen so far in this game on that last one, and Korra managing to work it all the way up the field to try to get that break, but also that upwind point that could be a very important factor to this game right now. So giving the disc back to QUB, and QUB manages to go all the way downwind, and that touch on that disc from Garon as well had to be on point to not get pushed out of bounds by the wind. So gives her team an opportunity to go the other way, looking for their upwind point.
With the pull that barely makes it to the half of the field. Great pressure by QUB, which leads into a turnover.
And Champagne Cote there trying to make a play on the D and gets it, and now she goes the other way. Champagne Cote again centers to the middle for Laurent. Now over to Bergeron, up line to Laurent again, and she will shoot to the deep. An open receiver in the end zone. Dubé for the score, the upwind point, and the first break of the game goes to QUB.
Well, we told you at the beginning of the game that Champagne Côté would be a player to watch. Well, here's why we mentioned that. She's just all over the place, making the D and throwing, what about the 30 yards long hawk into the wind, resulting in the first break of the game. So QUB celebrating in a very fashionable way, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit of creativity out there for the break, all rolling away from the player who scored.
Personally, I like the way, and we see that more in the women's division, like a lot of, the way you're celebrating your points or the way you're cheering up. So the women's team being definitely more creative than the open division.
So Korra will look to go upwind to get a hold. I won't be surprised to see some zone defense coming out from QUB as well. We've seen them put that 2-3-2 zone on when Korra was going downwind. So now with the wind on their side as well, can act as a bit of an extra defender as the big pull goes up. Trailing off a little bit to this near side. That's a fantastic pull all the way front corner of the end zone now. Humble centering to Anderson. There's that zone look. Doucette finds Lee to Anderson. Swung around to Humble now, up to Doucette. Comfortably swinging right now as the zone chases, but not really gaining any yards, just swinging around the back. Anderson again in the middle, shoots to the sideline for Humble. Humble will put that up to Berg. Anderson now starting to find some yards here as Doucette has it and shoots through to Brock. Berg. You hear the melt call from QUB as Humble takes control again and shoots to Dahl, who gets high to reel that one in and puts it to Berg in the end zone, and Korra with a perfect offensive point upwind for the hold. And what a way to respond to that break from QUB.
Textbook patience, even though I believe that the handlers could have been a little more, could have run a little more, because it took about, a dozen passes before they reached out to the half of the field. So maybe if they were a little less statics, they would have found opportunities earlier. And with that win, even though you have like steady throwers, you never know what can happen when there's a gust of wind, just like we're experiencing right now. Anything can happen. So a little more action for the handlers would have been maybe a little more safe. But hey, there's a point, and I believe they worked it out very well once they went above the cup. So good job from Korra to tie this game to 3.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to see a little bit more give and go action to carry your team through in those situations. But Korra, a team from the prairies, of course, they are used to this wind as well, Etienne. They play and practice in these conditions all the time. So clearly shown on that point, the wind not really having an effect on any of their throws.
Very impressive.
So Korra off downfield, trying to bring this game back on serve by getting a break. Natasha Wright will be first down here on defense, almost laying out. Now the zone look as QUB swings around. Topar with the disc, and the big huck put up, that's gonna float. Defensive coverage and almost reeled in, managed to read that better. Fisher swings the disc over, now back with Fisher. Reeled in, upfield, Hind putting it to Brock. Caitlin Brock shoots around, but the poach D from Bergeron. Incredible heads up play there. Back in the zone for Korra. Bergeron puts it to the sideline. Now Bergeron again faking the through shot in the cup. A little bit on that sideline, but finds a receiver through in Robert, who gets it into the middle. QUB being patient. And Korra now melting into a person set, but still one open player on the field here for QUB, taking their time with no stall count as the defender finally gets there. Back to Bergeron, shoots towards the sideline. The layout grab from Laurent to retain possession. And now we'll go upfield to Côté Allard. Bergeron shoots for the end zone. That one's floating. There is coverage, but two receivers, and that will be reeled in for QUB for the hold, bringing this game to 4-3.
I'm very, very pleased to see both teams playing with a lot of confidence, trying those hucks, trying to reach those striker receivers and giving great opportunities like both inside and outside. And Korra did a great transition in the last action. They were zone defense, but their man-to-man transition was fairly smooth, even though it resulted into a QUB's point, which they are now leading by 4-3, about halfway in this first half.
So we talked early on about the wind having an effect on this game, but I think we may have to take that one back a little bit as these teams are showing that their throwing ability is easily able to overcome the wind out here, and it is quite windy. That's not an understatement to say that. So good to see both teams working it all the way up the field here.
Probably the coaching staff who said to both of the players, just rely on what you're good at, and if you feel like hucking it, and if there's a receiver, well, just go for it, and be confident, and if you make mistakes, well, rely on your teammates to recover that mistake.
Anderson centers the disc to Humble, who finds Lee. The zone set again. Kind of a 3-3-1 zone now as Berg gets it, and they move it upfield to Dahl. Dahl will swing that around to Lee, all the way over to Anderson. Korra moving the disc fairly quickly. Their handler's still a little bit static in this zone set right now as they look for an option and get the swing to Anderson. Tight coverage there from QUB. Now being forced further back as they try to go through the cup and find Dahl. Lee just surveying the options as Anderson crashes in. Now moving it around again, still not finding too many yards here. Almost the run through D, and Anderson will take advantage as Berg toes the line. Now into the middle, holsters that disc is Kim Taylor. Now Kim Dahl shooting up to Berg. That one to the end zone, and that's where we see the wind having an effect as it catches that shot from Berg to the end zone there.
So lots of patience by Korra's handler, but as you mentioned, they were very static, so it took a long time. And still, we said that earlier in the webcast, that even though you have steady handlers with those gusts of wind, you never know what's going to happen with your pass. So rather be safe and try to gain some yardage. It was very long before they reach out to the half of the field. So, but now it's a QUB's possession, looking for a second break point in this game.
Garand now with Korra in a zone set as well as they will boost it deep. Defender there gets the touch on the disc as Martin Fortier there had good position as well, but that disc, Berg, a dominant deep space defender, as you can see, no issue getting to that one.
So the two players were in great possession to reach for that disc, but Berg had definitely had a height advantage on that last, and it resulted into Korra's possession.
Dahl now through the cup to Berg, who finds Lee. Some better movement there initially from Korra as Anderson has it. Trying to work it upfield with a little bit more space. Dahl will shoot, looking for Brock. Brock unable to get the inside track, but there is a call on the throw. And you can see the QUB player there as well was just shaking her hand off. Shaking her hands, knows there was contact. Looks like an uncontested foul. So the disc will remain with Kimberly Dahl here for Korra.
A little pain, but two smiles. Not contested. back into action.
Now Anderson up line to Berg. Berg does well to keep her toes there. Dahl just surveying for an option, holsters that one, gets Anderson back. Anderson, the inside shot to Caitlin Brock, and that one bobbled off her hands through the contact. The defensive pressure from Martin Fortier here. Very good on 2 of those plays in a row now, getting the Ds on Brock.
Yeah, Martin Fortier is really has a strong physical presence on the field. Great defense. She really outrun her opponent.
Dis now swung to the far sideline with Garon. Looking into the middle. Garon going 1 and 2 there. She shoots a little floaty flick to Furland. That one floats a little bit, but still time to make that grab as Pepin shoots to Turcotte. Now into the middle, open receiver to the end zone for the break. And that is the biggest lead we've had so far in this game as QUB leads 5-3.
And it's a double happiness, I believe, from Martin Fortier, who did the D earlier in that point about at QUB's own brick mark, and now finishing the job with scoring a second break in this first half of this game.
So QUB off to the races here at the start, starting to figure out some of these plays that Korra is trying to put up, and think if they've watched any of Korra's games, they know that Korra does like to shoot for the likes of Caitlin Brock going deep. She is a very, very talented cutter, but so far Martin Fortier having no problem getting 2 Ds on her in this point, and I think those kinds of adjustments are exactly what's going to carry a team through into things like quarterfinals.
When you can shut down the star players of the other team early in the game, it gives you confidence into your own ability. So, great execution by QUB. Alors, c'est maintenant 5-3 en faveur des QUB qui ont maintenant 2 bris d'avance dans ce match. On vous rappelle l'enjeu du match, c'est l'accès au quart de finale de la division féminine de ce championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2018, ici même à Brampton, Ontario. QUB de la ville de Québec qui affronte Korra de la Saskatchewan.
So Dahl now finds Anderson with a little over the top.
Man-to-man defense by QUB.
Now Humble looking for Doucette, but the second effort is caught by Schwartz. Over to Dahl. Fisher now finds Doucette to Humble. Brigham now. Anderson looks, threads the needle to Doucette. And now into the end zone. Kimberly Dahl, another clean hold from the Saskatchewan team, and they keep it within 1.
So far, QUB has found a way to punish Korra for their unforced error, especially when QUB, well, not only unforced, but when the QUB has done the defense. So great job by Korra's handling squad, who really took control of that possession, even though there was a few challenging throws to be caught, but the job was done, and they are reducing the gap by 1 point, trailing 4-5, about halfway in this first half.
So we'll see what Korra can do on defense. They're still looking for their first break of this game as well. QUB with 2 breaks to their name. See if they can go upwind on defense here and what they can accomplish.
Alors QUB qui a commencé le match en défensive mène par 1 point. Ils ont marqué déjà 2 points bris. On vous rappelle l'enjeu qui est vraiment d'accéder au quart de finale de ce championnat canadien d'Ultimate. Korra avec le lancer d'engagement. QUB avec les chandails foncés et Korra avec les chandails blancs.
So Latulippe will pick up here for QUB over to Garon. Inside shot to Latulippe again. The person defense here from Korra. Boucher has it now. Puts that one into space for Ferland and around. That one's gonna float. Garon trying to chase it down and it drops just out of reach of her hands as Raynell Fisher will get a chance to bring it back in as she immediately moves it to find Anderson, but no one from Korra moving upfield right now. And now an in cut comes from Schwartz. Back to Fisher. Fisher shooting for Brigham and she reels it in on the second attempt after that first bobble. Resets now and then to Anderson who has to get low to keep that in play. Anderson running out of options, finds a reset in Sunday. And now the pressure run through defense from QUB gets the defensive play on Nola Stein. Gutevere with the D there, and what great defensive pressure.
Once again, QUB outrunning their opponent.
And then Garon right away with a layout on the sideline to retain possession, shoots into coverage. Somehow Bergeron there managed to get open but can't hang on to the disc.
Unfortunately for QUB, they had a great opportunity to score another break point in this first half, but they couldn't convert. And in the meantime, Korra's taking a timeout, their first timeout of this game, to take their breath back, have a sip of water, and figure out how they're gonna score this point, considering QUB's defensive pressure.
QUB, like you said there, their pressure and their intensity really ramping up right now. They're trying to keep their lead at 2 points, and Korra need to get at least one break back, and I think getting that break back before half is a great thing for your confidence of any team, knowing that you have that ability, and they don't look like they're hanging their heads at all yet at this point. Just need to settle it down and work the disc up the field.
You mentioned it very well there a few seconds ago, that Korra's cutter, when they are in possession, they seems to hesitate before giving some options in, which forces the Korra's handlers to just resets, and even the Korra's handlers are not very mobile. They tend to stay steady, so it's just passing the disc around, not getting any yardage, and still we're repeating that. But considering the gusts of winds we're experiencing right now, it can become very challenging.
Yeah, the cutters here just need to start cutting before the disc is actually tapped into play in order to set up their cuts properly, and I think if they can do that, that will really help them work up the field here and support the handlers.
Zone defense to start that point by QUB.
So understand the timeout call as well here from Korra, but being trapped in that corner as almost the Callahan is almost caught here from QUB. Korra stuck back in the middle of their end zone, managed to get that grab, and this time it's gonna blade down towards the ground. Gives QUB the disc on the end zone line, but an incredible attempt there from the defense. Straight towards the middle of the end zone, and now shot and easily reeled in for the goal to keep their lead at 2 points. They're now up 6-4 over Korra.
Wow, what an opportunity for QUB, but even though they missed that Callahan, they just caught up with scoring their 6th point of the game. But wow, what an opportunity have they missed. You always like to score a Callahan. It's such a hype for your teammates, and it's such a backbreaker for the team that is like the victim of this Callahan. So, but I guess it will be the next time if there is another opportunity, obviously. So, alors c'est 6-4 pour les QUB là, qui étaient à quelques centimètres près d'inscrire un point Callahan. Alors, pour ceux qui ne savent pas c'est quoi un Callahan, c'est lorsqu'on intercepte une passe adverse dans la zone de points, on inscrit un point automatiquement, et c'est dans la culture du Ultimate, un Callahan est toujours un très grand motivateur pour l'équipe qui inscrit le Callahan, mais pour l'équipe adverse, c'est toujours un point difficile à avaler. Alors 6-4 pour les QUB dans cette première mi-temps.
So some poachy zone defense here as Lee shoots through to Berg to find Doucette now. And QUB only holding that zone for 2 passes as they immediately melt back into person now. Humble shoots over to Lee. Humble now in the middle. Upfield, Kimberly Dahl just running into the end zone, but has it now to Caitlin Brock for the goal and the hold. And Korra still showing us how efficient their offensive line is.
Well, QUB had success so far, but they haven't put down Korra's O-line. They have been very steady with in the latest few points with their O-line. So QUB will need to maintain that pressure to ensure they stay ahead in this game. And still, Korra looking for their first break point of the game. They're trailing by 2 break points right now.
Korra gonna have to make some adjustments going upwind in this direction as well, because the QUB defense, especially that zone, when they get trapped in those tight corner situations, that zone is so intense and puts on so much pressure on the throwers. I think for me, a little bit more activity from the handlers as well as some more crashing into the cup from the cutters could really help them find those holes and work through the traps.
And going back 2 points when there was the timeout call by Korra, and they call a timeout while they were like straight in the corner of the field. You know, depending on the experience of the player, you're trying to avoid that. Don't call a timeout when you're stuck on the line. Just put the disc in the middle, and then you call a timeout because you're in a better position. Otherwise, you can, you know, there was like a big risk of the Callan we were discussing about. So just make sure you call your timeout when you're in the middle of the field, not trapped on the sideline.
So that pull will float out of bounds and will be brought in at the brick mark here for QUB. Latulip will bring it in just 1 yard in front of the brick with a person set here, some poaches in the lanes from Korra. And that one shot too low. The wind now picking up, coming more towards us, causes that to go straight into the ground. Now Dahl in the middle finds Doucette. Back to Anderson. Anderson over to the sideline here. She gets it back from Hind. Now Dahl again. Anderson going up line. Dahl running out of options but finds Cruz. Now Cruz around to Hind. Looking for Dahl. That one goes over the top, but Caitlin Brock bobbles it, brings it down for Korra. Dahl again shooting for the end zone, but the poach defense there getting up high for QUB to give them the disc back and a chance at the hold. Pepin with the disc now. That one elevating too, but Latulip gets it, and now Garon over to Pepin. Latulip laying out to retain possession here for QUB. Thinks about the crossfield shot. And now looking for Garon outfield just outside the end zone line. Garon will have to bring it back. Latulip now around into the end zone. Taking advantage of that defensive turnover here. Just like that, they're back up again, 2 points.
Yeah. QUB taking a 2-point lead back late in the first half of this game. So great execution in the end zone. They were on the right hand side, no option, never hesitated, swing the disc and then attack the other side. And there seems to be some confusion on Korra's defensive line. So great execution by QUB, taking advantage of this turnover by Korra, who had a great opportunity to for their first break point earlier. A few seconds ago while they had possession near the QUB's break point line, so but unfortunately could not take advantage of it. So QUB leading by 2 late in this first half. Alors QUB qui maintient son avance de 2 points à un seul point de remporter la première mi-temps. Dernier point était inscrit par la ligne offensive de QUB qui a vraiment fait une très belle exécution là, dans tout près de la zone payante, alors qu'il n'y avait aucune option du côté ouvert. On a tout simplement remis en soutien pour ensuite attaquer le côté opposé. inscrivant ainsi le 7e point du match. 7-5 pour les QUB avec les chandails foncés.
Lee now finds Humble. QUB now down in a person-to-person set as Brock shoots over to Berg. Wojtowicz now in the middle to Lee. Berg, far sideline, looks up line to Humble, who reels that in, and then immediately the inside shot to Kelty, bring him for the easy goal and the hold. And Korra still showing us again that this offensive unit is not to be messed with, but need to find something different on defense. At this point, Etienne, what can they do to shut down the same efficiency we're seeing from QUB?
Yeah, they will have to be much more active on the when Korra gets the disc back on defense. Just be active. Make sure you give your enders some option to gain some yardage, which they were pretty. It seems like they are shy of attacking the long and the in cuts afterward to provide some option to their handlers. So definitely something they will have to improve on. But on the last point, I really love what I'd like to call the rhythm of their O-line. Really like catching the disc, finding an option right off the back, no hesitation, and not letting the stall getting too high, maybe to 2, 3, maybe 4 on top, and just like scoring a point in a very, very easily matter. So great execution by Korra. Alors 7-6 toujours pour les QUB Korra qui vient d'inscrire un point, réduisant l'écart à un seul petit point dans cette deuxième demi. Alors Korra, s'il veut espérer inscrire un point bris, devra sans aucun doute avoir des traceurs beaucoup plus actifs que ce qu'on a vu jusqu'à date une fois qu'ils ont repris possession du 10. C'est ce qu'on verra dans quelques instants.
Disc on the near sideline now. Champagne Cote shooting to La Tulipe. Pointing for an option, will opt to go to the end zone. And the receiver in behind the two defenders, able to come down with that and somehow bobbles it right off of her hands.
Just too bad for QUB because it was a great pass, even though there was two defenders there. There was a great option. But I like the confidence that both teams have into their long play. Like they don't hesitate, they just put it out there and they have confidence into their receiver to take a bit at it. But maybe it was part of the QUB strategy to just throw it long because they are now setting a zone versus Korra's offense.
So Korra now moving the disc around with a little bit more pace from this line through the zone as Natasha Wright has it on the far sideline. Hind puts it up to Anderson. Anderson opting for the huck, and that one is not going to come back in bounds as she smiles and does a little pat on her chest to say my bad. But the defense did touch the disc, so the disc will come back in down by the end zone cone. La Tulipe looking for Champagne Cote, who makes a sharp inside cut. Now swung over to Boucher. Up line now. Looking for the reset. Bobbled over the top of Champagne Cote's head, and that will give Korra an opportunity just under 20 yards from the end zone as Hind goes through, but Champagne Cote with the run through D right back.
Wow, what a great display of athleticism in the last defense. Very impressive.
Able to get that one back after it was just over her head before. Now into the middle. Tight defense here from Korra's Champagne Cote, keeping this alive here for QUB. Shoots it to the middle to La Tulipe. Opts for the huck again. This time again, just into the receiver's hand and bobbled straight back out.
La Tulipe feeling bad that this pass was not completed, but she really like whipped that flick right from half field. Fortunately, a little shy from the point leading to the half. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that QUB is playing a zone defense. I believe they have a slight edge from an athleticism point of view, but still, they picked up a zone defense, which led to a turnover.
Yeah, a drop there from the Korra handlers, and QUB will take a timeout. They know that if they're able to execute this end zone set, they can put it into halftime with a 2-point lead, and they will, of course, get to start the second half going downwind.
So lots of action in this game, lots of great handling, great defense also, specifically for on the QUB's end. To mention Rosalie Champagne, côté number 77, which has shown great timing and great. She literally outrun her opponent at least twice in this first half. So great display by number 77. Alors les QUB qui mènent toujours 7-6, qui viennent de prendre un temps d'arrêt alors qu'ils viennent de reprendre possession du disque. Je dirais un peu moins de 20 verges là, de la zone payante. Les QUB là, qui cherchent à inscrire le 8e point, qui vont les mener avec un écart de 2 points pour commencer la deuxième demi. Alors comme elles vont commencer la deuxième demi en offensive, assumant qu'elles inscrivent le premier point de la deuxième demi alors qu'elles seront en offensive, elles auront alors une avance de 3 points. Elle a l'avantage d'avoir inscrit 2 points bris dans cette première demi. Alors un match vraiment très, très serré, chaudement disputé des deux équipes là, qui se battent pour accéder au quart de finale de ce championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2018 de la division femmes.
La Tulipe gets us back underway here as it's now in the middle with Boucher. Champagne Côté, 2 yards from the end zone. Anderson on the mark. Looking for an option, running out of options, and she'll shoot. And that one is going to sail with the wind all the way out of bounds. And we've talked about the wind changing directions here before, and now instead of going straight upwind, downwind, it is much more of a crosswind coming directly towards our booth here as well. So that disc just being carried out of bounds with the wind.
There was a lot of clogging on QUB's end near the end zone. Champagne Côté had no option to try to attempt that very tough throws in the wind.
And that one floating, but somehow reeled down by Schwartz. Now into the middle here for Korra. Finds Natasha Wright. Over to Dahl. Dahl to Brigham. Brigham looking for Wright, and that one just too low, and it's picked off by Champagne Côté, who goes straight to move it upfield. Martin Fautier now back to Champagne Côté. La Tulipe. Boucher and all the way down the field with the huck, but Kimberly Dahl is in that space as that one hangs a little short. Taylor now, but a drop in the middle of the field will give a gift here to QUB as they look to take half 1 yard from the end zone line. La Tulipe picks up the inside shot, but Boucher there not actually quite ready for it, it looked like, as it came in a little bit behind her.
I don't think Boucher was expecting that throw.
But now back in their own end zone again. Korra try to find a way to get out of this corner as Anderson has it. Anderson, the little scoober over to Schwartz, and it works. That one another shaky throw, but Taylor keeps it in possession here. Anderson over to Hind. Anderson trying to go every other pass here. Dahl finds Anderson, now trapped on the far sideline. Handlers seem to be upfield right now, a couple options back. Hind, that scooper just drops through her hands, and you can see her already looking to the side of the field where the swing should have been before that catch was made.
A very long point.
About the third opportunity here for QUB to try to score on the end zone line, and it's another error. hear the wind picking up here as now Dahl has it, and QUB have decided to go into a person set rather than the zone. They've been playing this direction for the entirety of the game. Taylor keeps that low, looking for Brigham, but it's just behind where she was cutting, and the layout won't keep that one up. See if QUB can convert this time. Still looking to take half and get a hold here. Champagne Cote. That one going around, and that's going to sail too high in the wind as well. And ATN, we're seeing QUB now on the doorstep 4 times and unable to score.
Unforced error by QUB. They're missing a great opportunity to take the lead, and the point is getting longer and longer. The players are getting exhausted, and it's their O-line that's on the field right now. So they need to they should ensure to close that game. And in the meantime, we've seen once again number 77, Champagne Cote, doing another defense in that point.
And she's going to take a timeout here. This is actually their second timeout of the point, second timeout of the first half as well. And you don't often see a team taking 2 timeouts in the same point. So that just goes to show how much this point has kind of gone awry for both of these teams, with execution errors happening. And QUB had 5 chances 10 yards from the end zone to score and haven't been able to convert on this point.
And we haven't seen Korra in the other half of the field for at least a few minutes now. So Korra could not find a way to gain some yardage and get off of their own end zone. So there was a ton of opportunity by QUB, but they just couldn't nail the last point, leading them to the first half of the game.
So we'll see this time if the timeout call will pay off. Champagne Cote there still going every other pass, and now she'll have it on the end zone line, or 10 yards or so off. Korra will look to generate another turnover here and see if they can convert with it.
Alors les QUB là, qui ont manqué plusieurs opportunités près de la zone de points pour fermer les livres, à tout le moins pour cette première mi-temps. Elle mène toujours 7-6. En excellente position d'inscrire le point qui les mènera à la mi-temps. On va voir comment elles réagiront.
Champagne Cote finding La Tulipe. Back to Champagne Cote, looking for an option, gets a bobbly throw, and this time the layout grab to the goal, and to take half here for QUB. A shaky throw. They're still celebrating it. They're happy to have that point finally over, and they take half 8-6.
And a shaky throw it was from the lefty handler who threw that pass. I haven't seen her number, but great awareness by the QUB's receiver, who really laid out to catch that blady flick-ish throw to close the first half. QUB is leading now 8-6, as you very well mentioned. Alors QUB qui inscrit le point qui les mène à la mi-temps. Elles mènent maintenant par 2. Elles ont toujours 2 points bris en poche. Elles commenceront la deuxième demi en offensive.
So we will take a short break here during this halftime. We'll be back with second half action from the 2018 Canadian Ultimate Championships in just a few minutes.
When I'm
Welcome back to the 2018 Canadian Ultimate Championships. We are here in Brampton, Ontario. A little bit of wind and weather happening, rolling in. We're hopefully going to get through this game without any delays. We had major storm delays yesterday, which caused a little bit of havoc, but we're here. Women's crossover action. QUB took half against Korra, 8-6. QUB looking to get into that quarterfinal spot. Korra have never been there before, and the first pull is up, so let's see what they can do.
Alors on est de retour pour cette match qui donnera accès à l'équipe gagnante au quart de finale de la division féminine de ce championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2018 ici à Brampton, Ontario.
That Tulip will find Turcotte on the far sideline, and Korra immediately down in a zone to try to stop the upfield movement, but Gahan will shoot right away, and it's reeled in, now floating to the end zone, and that is an easy first point and hold here from QUB. Goutet-Verret with the goal to extend their lead, the biggest lead of this game at 9-6.
Great execution by the QUB's handler and the receiver from Guru receiving that about 30-yard long passes, never hesitated. So did our receiver who just stroke into the end zone to score the 9th point of the dark jerseys. They're now leading by 3 early in the second half. Alors QUB là, qui commence la deuxième demi de très belle façon, malgré qu'elles étaient défendues par une défensive de zone, ont trouvé l'espace et sans hésiter ont inscrit leur 9e point. Elles mènent maintenant 9-6. So we were discussing at halftime, Becky, about there's opportunity for the two teams. There are two key handlers in this game. So on the QUB side, there is a La Tulipe, who is a pivotal handler, and so is Lynn La, the number 18 on Korra's team. So maybe there's an opportunity for the two defense to take a man-to-man position on those two players and just push them upward into the stack, so they will not be in a handler position. They will be more in a striking or cutter's position. Put them outside of their comfort zone and see what happens.
So right away there, a drop from Humble as well, which will give an opportunity here to QUB to extend their lead, as QUB coming out of this half looking more confident as well. The touch there will keep it though, and there is the miscued shot, and the wind has seemingly died down a little bit, at least from where we're sitting. It feels like it has, so we'll see how that has an effect on this game. Lee looking for Dahl. Dahl reels that in under the pressure, and Kimberly Dahl, the big backhand huck. Berg looking for the grab, and there will be a call on the play, and we don't have a replay up here, but to me it did look like the disc was fully in Berg's hand, and then maybe the contact causing her to drop it after.
Two players trying to figure it out, but wow, what a huck, about 60-yard long huck from the Korra's handler. So Berg's now arguing that she was really was a strip call, I believe she's saying. So heading to the observers, hearing both sides of the arguments. It was very well defended. I think Berg, I think there was room to call a foul there, but observers have a better perspective. So uncontested foul, and it's Korra's possession at QUB's in the doorstep of the end zone.
Berg with the disc. Shot to the end zone. She could see Caitlin Brock going, but couldn't see Champagne Cote there, who was waiting and ready for that. Cote gets us back. Looking for the reset in the middle with Boucher. Simoneau now upfield and bobbled out of the hands of Boucher, as Lee will pick up and look to get a hold here. Try to keep this game within their reach as Dahl has it. Dahl, beautiful inside backhand shot to Berg. an absolutely visionary shot there from Kimberly Dahl to keep this game within their reach at 9-7.
Wow, what a pass from Dahl. I mean, what a nice field awareness to know, like just being aware where your receivers are, and she never hesitated pulling like a laser through into the end zone to score the 7th point of her team. So then trailing by 2 and still hanging there. They still have a bid for this game.
So Korra still have not gotten a break in this game yet. They're holding so well, 7 points on offense here that they have managed to score, but it's those 3 breaks now that are really the game changer, and they're going to need to generate something different. 2 breaks was correct when I first said that.
Yeah, 2 breaks.
2 breaks difference, 9-7. Korra, even at this point, if they can get 1 back, especially 1 going upwind, that can really help be a momentum shifter and put them right back in here. I mean, they're still here, they're still in the conversation, and not showing signs of going away with shots like that from Dahl.
And in order to score some break points, Korra will need to first get some defense, because so far they have not. It was mainly unforced error by QUBs, and they will also have to be super active on offense, because right now their cutters seems to be more statics than mobile.
You can feel some rain starting to come down here too. Brigham laying out on the mark to stop the up the line shot as Latulippe shoots to Boucher in the middle. Boucher will look for Garon, and Garon bobbled off her hands. Lots of time to think about that one. Stein now. Having trouble finding an option, but get one in Taylor. Taylor shooting back to Cruz, and it's just off of her hand, as giving an opportunity right back to QUB here. Shot around, getting low to make that grab is Boucher. Garon almost bobble, but holds it in, and Boucher thought, I think, that she had that in her hands, and then the wind pushing it up and down and just misses it.
Great execution, good, nice way to attack the line, but unfortunate gusts of wind just let the disc dropping about like 1 foot down, but still another opportunity for QUB right now.
QUB managing to generate these turnovers near the end zone line, but they've had troubles converting. This time, Latulippe will make a great inside cut. That cut so close to her thrower, but that doesn't matter for them here as they keep their lead at 3 with 10-9.
QUB entering the 2-digit zone in regards of scoring. So great, again, attacking the line by Latulippe, which, as Becky mentioned, very close to her handler, but still managed a little flick to score the 10th point. So still leading by 3, alors que QUB vient d'inscrire son 10e point. Elle rentre dans la zone du pointage à 2 chiffres. Vient d'atteindre le chiffre numéro 10 en termes de pointage. Alors Korra qui n'a toujours pas inscrit un point bris dans ce match, pendant que les QUB maintiennent leur avance de 2 bris. En ce début de deuxième demi, il reste environ une vingtaine de minutes à ce match qui est prévu se terminer à 6h moins 10 ou 17h50 si vous préférez, à moins qu'une des deux équipes atteigne le pointage de 15 avant la fin du match. So approximately 20 minutes left into this game, unless one of the two teams reaches out the 15-point mark.
So time not on the side of Korra, but that being said, there is still time to close this gap, but they are going to have to find a way to get that break. First, the hold as Dahl has it, finds Berg. Brock. Back to Humble. Humble to Doucette. Dahl moving it so well again as Caitlin Brock, the one-on-one matchup in the end zone. And again, Korra's O-line so good and so efficient here, ATN, but if they're going to make this comeback, they've got to break down the exact same thing what we're seeing. We're seeing QUB work it all the way up the field, despite they've had troubles getting it in on the end zone line. When they do turn it over, their defense, so much pressure on this Korra team.
It's a great execution. I mean, it was a flawless 0 point that Korra just executed, and they need to replicate that, as you very well said, on their D-line when they get possessions, which they had struggled to do so far in this game, which resulted in a no break point so far from Korra, while QUB is hanging on with their 2 break points lead. So QUB is still ahead by 2 points in the second half. Alors Korra là, qui vient de faire une très belle démonstration de leur habilité en offensive lorsqu'ils ont possession du 10, mais qui n'ont pas su jusqu'à date répliquer cette qualité d'exécution là, sur leur ligne défensive. C'est ce qu'elles tenteront de faire lors de du prochain point. Elles n'ont toujours pas inscrit de point bris dans ce match.
So Anderson with that pull as QUB will run down, looking to get a hold here. Garon finds Latulippe.
Zone defense.
That one is high and floaty, but has time to reel it down, and Turcotte there will shoot into the middle for Latulippe, who will throw her signature flick bomb all the way downfield, but trying to bobble that one back into play. Her feet were still on the ground, so it would not have counted even if that had worked for her. But Latulippe, no hesitation, seems to really love to throw that flick huck.
And she has I love the way she's just whipping those flick down the field. This one has a little too much gas, but there was definitely an opportunity. There was a wide open receivers there, so just a slight lack of execution.
Inside shot there from Anderson to Hind, and now Dahl has it. You can hear rain starting to come down. Brock to Hind. Hind reeling that in despite the throw going high, and we'll find Anderson up line, who hangs on to that one. Now Dahl. Korra working it up line. Dahl will shoot, looking for Kelty Brigham, and that's too far. A great throw and a good option to look for that, as Korra knows that they need to generate something different here.
Now the wind and the rain, well, we'll see what the impact those elements are having on the output of the game. So zone defense by Korra. QUB shooting long, completing, connecting at the break mark, looking to score an 11th point in this game.
Latulippe now has been a very central handler here for QUB as she finds Garon. Looking for Turcotte upfield, who reaches behind her to keep that disc here for QUB. Now looking for the reset, keeping those throws nice and low here. You can tell Latulippe wanted that crossfield shot, instead going into the middle of the end zone, but Ferland can't keep that one in play, and we've seen her make so many great grabs throughout the course of this game, so a bit uncharacteristic, but gives Korra a chance as this wind and rain coming down now.
Now with the wind, with the rain, and the clock is ticking. There's about 15 minutes left into this game, so Korra will... Here's an opportunity for Korra to score their first break point if they can achieve to cross the next 70 yards.
Does look like a contested stall down call here, as Anderson saying she released it before. The defender thinks that she got it off, so looks like they're going to bring in the observer for the first time in this game to make a ruling.
Two players still debating of when was the disc release. So Latulippe giving her inputs with a nice smile on her face.
So disc will come back in on stall 8 then with Anderson. She'll have to make a quick decision here.
Nice quick reset.
Dahl now upfield looking for Brock. Back to Anderson. Anderson will find Dahl. Dahl has been going every other pass here on so many of these upwind points as she finds Caitlin Brock. To Anderson, kept in play despite the bobble from the wind there. Anderson now looking for Hind. Anderson, the layout to keep that here for Korra. Korra with a shot to break if they can get this up the field. Looks for the inside shot to Taylor. Now Brigham to Dahl, and just too far out of her hands, and Korra doing such a good job of working it up the field there, but they can't keep it in their possession.
They were getting at the break, the brick marks, but they lost possession unfortunately. So Latulip going for another flick, long flick, but was unsuccessful.
And this one now brought in by Doucette, but too low, and this is what we're seeing, unfortunately. Just miss cues and miss shots here. Now Latulip in the middle. That one low, but manages to get there as Goutet Verret. Just outside of the end zone, around and just over the head of Latulip, and not a bad decision to make there.
Now the point, I believe it's the second longest point we have seen in this game so far.
So just moving our camera indoors. By indoors, I do mean under our tent here in the rain. And just as that is happening, a timeout has been called on the field. So trying to close out the final stages of this game here. Both of these teams, the horn has gone, so, and I'll take that back, the lightning horn has gone, so we do have to clear the fields right now. We will be going to a weather delay with about 13 minutes remaining on the game clock, so plenty of time for Korra to make a comeback. So we'll keep you updated on social media. Thank you for tuning in here. We'll be back as soon as we can.